Patricia from the Southwest Yankee. What some middle-aged women will do. The feed store. Southwest style, Northwest style. Light moment. Animals, birds, reptiles, and sea creatures are being tamed and have been tamed by mankind. Jeremiah 3:7. So, after the canoe trip with my son, we went to the feed store. But even before we went to the feed store, we saw 3 armadillos. There will be no seeing 3 armadillos in the Northeast. So, we went to the feed store, and I usually do my usual joke, my mommy joke, my ma joke. Hey! There's big barrels like hay out there. It's so much fun. But, so we end up going to the feed store. That it is like rivals a pet store, or, you know, it's like halfway between a pet store and a zoo. Okay, so what happens is, we go in. We see, and we've already been over this about my son has a roommate that has a hairless cat. We'll get into what was hairless there. Okay, so we go in. We see baby chicks, baby chickens, and then we see bunnies and guinea pigs. And by the way, the hairless were the guinea pigs. We saw a couple hairless guinea pigs. We saw a couple tarantulas, a few little baby, it was so cute, those bearded dragons, and doves. We saw finches, parakeets, and, you know, of course, rats. But what was really wild is, before we saw a hedgehog, chinchilla. So it's pretty wild. And we got to pet the bunnies. But we really wanted to go in there to see the micro mini pigs. They said a couple weeks, so I'm marking my calendar to get in there. And I've been a few times and seen them. They're so adorable. So I got to thinking, you know, what are the feed stores like in, you know, I always think of New Hampshire. We'll get into that. I was telling somebody here in Texas, and I told a Northeastern friend too. What Texas is like. It's like New Hampshire, because you can have any animals up there, and you ride around without a helmet on your motorcycle. So, and I saw a couple people with "Don't Tread on Me," which they have up in New Hampshire. So, yes, I shouldn't have said that. So what happened was, so I look it up, and one thing that I noticed, especially being near, the ocean back east, the feed stores there are gonna have a bait shop in them. Especially getting bait for, the ocean. But on all this learning about that, due to the fact it's probably be like, being in the middle of the winter in Northeast, and dealing with all the proclivities of the snow. So this is with the heat, dealing with those. So what happened was, I started looking up the weather, because when we were at church, before we went, how my son and I went to church, the luncheon at church and then to the canoeing. I think they had people from out of state at the table. Why don't we say I think that happened on purpose? No. So we had somebody from Colorado, another lady from Pennsylvania. So the one from Colorado had to move to Texas because she had, my daughter got it skiing. It's altitude sickness. But hers was, she was an older woman, and it was like real bad. Like she was on oxygen, like it was 7,000 feet above sea level, and she just, the air was so thin that her body was like, I'm done. So they had to move here. But, so she says to me when they were moving, because this is where it got me thinking about, that's why the feed stores is like a party, because, what do? There's only so many times you can, I don't know. I'm trying to think of things we do when it's really hot, but I'm trying to block it out. No, but she said when, they were checking to move to different parts of the country, she says, yeah, this is subtropical. I'm like, subtropical? Like, we know that we know that we know, but we don't want to know. So it's kind of like, I like to be in denial. So then I'm like, when I'm justifying canoeing and it's 95, saying, oh, it's not that hot because it's not 115, why? So now we're going to have a vocabulary lesson on subtropical. So I looked it up. So it's adjacent to, in relation to, the tropics. And I'm like, I know. So, it's just really hot. And we were kind of looking at each other at the table. Like, yes. But I think we shouldn't talk about it. Okay, so we're going to talk more about this later. I just got on a side note about it because, I love to look up words, because we're going to have an installment on subtropical and temperate. That was the Northeast where it came from. So temperate and subtropical. And we will be talking more about, climate and geography and temperature related to this. But I don't want to give too much away, but that was a little foreshadowing. So, remember to subscribe. See you guys later. Bye.